Part 2. How does Jesus fit in with the Old Testament? The things he was saying on the Mount.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he
Is
seems
it a
to go with that.
mountain?
He did go up a
Yeah,
mountain.
it's a mountain.
Mm. So
We should call it Sermon on the Mountain.
he should do.
Okay.
Maybe we shall. Let's rebrand
Yeah.
Jesus. So the fulfillment of the law. We're looking at verse 17. I guess when Jesus starts to teach, people are asking, well, Jesus, how do you fit in with what we've heard before? You know, the stuff that Moses brought, the stuff that we've heard from the prophets all our lives, you know. Is what you're teaching going to be different? Are you kind of relaxing all the laws that we've had in the past? You know, what's the kingdom of God going to be like? So Jesus is referring to this in the next section, and he's basically saying, listen, guys, I haven't come to abolish the law and the prophets. I've come to fulfill them. That's how he says it, which some people find that a little bit confusing. What does he mean to fulfill the law and the prophets?
I think of it like he's sort of filling it out.
That is exactly it.
Fulfilling.
Yeah, he is. So basically what you could say maybe is that the law gave us a little bit of an outline. The New Testament talks about it being a shadow, which is quite a nice image. It's like there's something that comes before the real thing, and you just see the image. It's like a two-dimensional version of the three-dimensional reality. That's the law. It was like a two-dimension outline.
Yeah. Like one of those things at a murder scene.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it gives you a shape. You can't really tell too much about it. You think it probably is a body, but you're not sure.
You can usually tell it's a
body. Yeah, usually. But yeah, what does it really look like? What are the details? And Jesus is saying, now I've come to fulfill it, to fill it out, to give you a full picture. And he basically says, I'm the focus of it. Like, if you really want to know what it's all about, you can see it in me. I've come to fulfill it. And that you say, well, okay, give us more, Jesus. I'm not sure I really understand. And so he goes through 6 different case studies where he says, listen, you've heard it said, or you've heard the law being taught like this, do not commit adultery. That was, we know that's in the top 10. So we've heard that one. And Jesus says, but I've got a fulfillment. It wasn't actually about adultery. It was about what's going on in your heart. And he goes through the 6 different case studies to outline what the new kingdom of God looks like. Not defined by your outward, obedience to a code of rules, but something that's going on inside.
So what are the 6 things? I'm trying to think, would it be generosity?
So there's one that says, you've heard it said, do not murder.
Obviously, murder.
I'm telling you, it's all about whether you hate people, whether you belittle people in your heart, whether you put them down. That's what he's really getting at. The adultery. There's one about divorce. There's one about taking oaths. So you can, Jesus says, when you're swearing by the temple or by the number of hairs on your head or whatever, actually, why not just be honest? Let your yes be yes, your no, no. Then he starts to talk about this whole thing of taking revenge. You've heard it said, an eye for an eye.
That's probably the most famous, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a famous one. And he says, listen, I want you to know that the heart behind that, the fulfillment of that, is actually to love your enemies. Not to be someone that is quick to take revenge, but forgive, love in the heart. This is the new kingdom that I'm bringing.
And the 6th one?
The 6th one, well, so I've merged 2 actually. We've done the revenge one, an eye for an eye.
Okay.
And he says, really, that's about the generosity that you have for others.
I can't remember, was it you or someone else online? But I saw that they were saying, instead of it being don't do this, don't do that, it all becomes a positive thing. Like be loving, be generous, be forgiving,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah. I think.
Was that you?
Hey, I'll take the credit for it. I'm not sure.
The more I'm thinking about it, I don't think it was
It
you.
wasn't me. But I'll go along with that. Thanks for
Okay.
that. So yeah, and then the final one, loving. You've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. When Jesus says, actually, I'm turning that inside out to even love your enemies, those who
Yeah.
hate you. You know, if you only love the people that love you, the same as the rest of the world. Everyone does that.
That's so challenging, isn't it?
But this is the kingdom of God. This is a radical new. This is the light to the world. Something different that God's bringing. To love your enemies. So he's reshaping the whole thing to show you what God's new kingdom, the new community of God, is looking like on earth.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Hey, how are we going to do that? We'll find out next week.
Oh, okay.